I hate gift giving and receiving.
Receiving gifts is so weird. What do you say, thank you?
This is Coffee Convos with Kale Lowry and Lindsay Chrisley.
I really want you to be in your feels, Kale.
That does not interest me whatsoever.
I feel very attacked by you.
A spirited discussion about motherhood, friendship, family, and life in the public eye.
I'm just not with the fakery anymore.
There's a fakery bakery around here.
Here's Kale and Lindsay.
Christine, can she Photoshop one of me and the baby dads?
Kale, we're recording.
Oh. I'm so tired today, Lindsay. Good morning. Hello, Coffee Combos listeners.
Good morning. I would say that I am tired, but that would be a lie. I feel pretty well rested. Something that I'm struggling with is the fact that I sound like a dead person. So,
I mean, but you look great though.
Well, I still feel dead, so that has not been great. I got to Florida and all of a sudden started having an allergy attack, evidently, and it's just not letting up. And Suburban Dad, when he called me or FaceTimed me this morning, he was like, I need to send you medicine ASAP, because I was supposed to get it yesterday, but then I got so busy working that I was just like, oh, it'll go away on its own, and woke up and it's like still here. So yeah, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. It's Tuesday for us, Thursday for y'all. I went to go see this investment property this morning, and then I went live to do like my makeup and stuff because I get bored and that's what I do. And Kristen gets on there and she's like, I need to harass you about this email I just got. And when I tell you that I like literally wanted to shit my pants because I was like, if one of these baby dads is going to cuss me out for something, I just don't want to deal with it. And I was so afraid, but it turned out to be completely just about the investment property. But I was shitting my pants because I was like, I'm over this drama. Like, I just don't feel like dealing with it anymore. And I just want to get along with everyone. And then it was fine. And now I'm so tired. Like, I can't even tell you. I could literally crawl up in my bed and go to sleep right now.
Okay. So for the past 3-4 weeks, however long that I've been arguing with my ex-husband, I have been so exhausted, and I think it takes so much mentally out of you and emotionally out of you that it just makes you a different kind of tired. And so finally, once Kristen got involved, well, she's been involved for some time, but like once she basically put her foot down and was like, this is what we're not going to do. Once that transpired and I prayed about it, I've been able to let it go. And I think I've reached a point that I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes you have to let people dig their own holes and dig themselves out of those holes on their own without you trying to play referee. And I think that's a lesson that I have learned. And now I have woke up for a couple of days now not tired. So it feels really good.
Oh, good for you. I love that for you. We love a well-rested feeling, which I haven't felt in a long time.
I truly could not imagine, Kale, like arguing with multiple baby dads.
No, it's literal hell. Like, it's literal hell. And I'm at a point where it's like, when I tell you that I'm just like, I want to be cool with everybody, I don't even want to talk about negative things. Like, that's where I'm at, because I feel like even though I'm venting about my situations, like, I just don't even want the backlash. I don't want the feelings. I don't want anything. Like, it's exhausting. It's so exhausting.
It's hard too, because part of our jobs is talking about our lives and like things that are going on. And so there's a fine line that you walk. It's like, what's too much to be talking about and what's not enough, because in one sense, you don't want to come across as a fraud. Somebody find out something that you didn't share and be like, why didn't you tell us this?
Right.
But then in the same sense, you know, you do want to have a level of privacy. I was actually just talking to my dad about this yesterday in reality TV, and just the fact that we have been doing this public life for 10 years. You've been doing it longer than that. But you get to a point where you want to have some level of privacy, and it's not because you want to hide things necessarily. It's just because you feel so out of control when you don't have something that you can just keep to yourself, marinate on it for a little bit before you share. You always have to feel like you have to be ahead of the story because that's what is preached to you in the business that we're in, like stay ahead of the story, tell your own story.
Right.
And that's frustrating.
I also want to tell you that I got pulled over this morning. So I'm basically Kale the jailbird.
Wait, what? You
Yeah, I
got pulled over for what?
Speeding.
Did you get a ticket?
He told me.
Wait. Back up. Before you even start with the ticket, first of all, I need to know if you have you obviously have new tires at this point because that's how you're driving. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were going where speeding specifically, and what did you look like when you were getting pulled over? And like, why weren't you on your phone videoing this for us?
So what's funny is that I normally in this area would go the speed limit. I just wasn't. I surprisingly was not on my phone. But I wasn't paying attention to like the speed limit changes right there. And normally I would pay attention, but I don't know. I was just like late for my appointment. And I was like, fuck it. And it's funny because I kept going and I saw from my rear view mirror, like a mile back, he's like getting on his motorcycle to come pull me over. So I already pulled over. Like he didn't even have to put his lights on. Like I already knew.
You did not get pulled over in your Suburban by a motorcycle cop.
Yes, I did.
No.
So he comes up to my passenger window and he's like, do you know why I'm pulling over? I said, yes, I do. And I told him, and he's like, where are you going? I said, an appointment. And he said, what time's your appointment? I said, 9:00. He said, so you're already late. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he asked me for my registration, my license, and my insurance. I said, I have my license and my registration. I said, but my insurance is on my phone. And he said, okay. So I show it so he goes and he's like, when I'm going to go run your license or whatever he does, and you pull up your insurance. So I was like, okay, cool. So he comes back to my car and he's like, I'm going to give you a verbal warning. He's like, but I did have to put on the paper that you don't have your insurance so that I could give you a verbal warning. But then instead of paying a ticket, I have to now go to court because he had to put on there that I didn't have my insurance, but I fully showed him my insurance. So I think it was like kind of still like a favor because he's like, you probably in our heads, he's probably like, go to the courthouse and show them your insurance. And then they'll be like, okay, that's it. He was really nice. It was really quick. I thought it was going to take like 20 minutes, but he was nice about it.
Kale.
Yeah.
Why do you always find yourself in shitty situations?
Because I make poor choices, Lindsay. I'm not a good choice maker.
This goes back to, I think I was saying this on the Southern Tea about baby daddy Will showing up 10, 15 minutes late when we had a standing time when he needed to be somewhere. You both need to live by the rule of if you are not 5 minutes early, then you are late.
Yes, 100%.
And if you live by that rule, you won't find your ass speeding. I won't have to worry about his Ford truck falling apart driving down the road, like driving like a bat out of hell trying to get somewhere. Not
the Ford truck.
You won't have to worry about having blowouts on the side of the road and needing to be technically somewhere else. That's just, my advice. Not that I really need to be giving people life advice because I need someone to actually give me some. But with being late, that's something that just drives me nuts.
To be fair.
Also, what are you drinking?
I was just drinking water, trying to stay hydrated. My
Not
doctor said I
anything
have, I'm dehydrated.
Kale, I feel like you're always dehydrated.
Well, my pee was so dark. Wait. And if I just drink. Wait, does your pee ever smell like coffee?
Everybody's pee smells like coffee if they drink coffee, but I can tell you, truly, Coffee Convos podcast listeners, I have not had a coffee in some time now and truly don't have a desire to have coffee. I don't know what it is that happened that caused me.
You sound like me.
But like, what is it?
I don't know.
I will go through phases.
Woke up one morning and didn't want coffee for 5 months. And then like even now when I was drinking my matcha tea, my iced matcha this morning, I didn't really want that while I was drinking it. I don't know. Like, it's like I'm just drinking shit just to drink it, but like I don't even want it.
Wait, people wrote into me and told me about the Coke thing and COVID, that it's a real thing. and that like a lot of people have this same feeling. And my sister also had it and my dad also had it.
It doesn't taste the same?
Yeah, it doesn't taste the same.
I personally don't think that Coke tastes the same since I had COVID at all.
And now I am full just like Sprite girl.
I also hate Sprite, so that's going to be a no from me.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp.
Okay, Lindsay, I am hopping off of this recording shortly to get into my weekly therapy session. Could not be more excited. I'm making a lot of progress in therapy. How's therapy going for you?
I absolutely love therapy every single week. It's something that I truly look forward to. I wish I would have started that process sooner. And I know that for a lot of people, it can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when you feel like you're faced with a challenge in life. But when you learn how to find your own solutions, there is no better feeling. And a therapist can help you become a better problem solver and make it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small they may be. We've had so many people send us messages right on the Facebook, messages to Instagram, to my personal and the podcast Instagram, letting me know that they are starting their BetterHelp journey. And I think that this is just so great. And I am truly so proud to be a partner of BetterHelp.
Yeah, we absolutely love BetterHelp. I think everyone has heard us talk about it for years at this point. We're huge advocates for therapy. Myself, Kale, and Lindsay all participate in therapy. We are huge believers that everybody should try therapy. And I just feel like it's great to just be able to talk and get different solutions to problems through different methodologies and things like that. And I think it's truly so important to just bettering yourself.
So if you are thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, and entirely online. You can get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey and switch therapists at any time. Because as you guys know, sometimes the first one's not always a great match, but you don't give up. And I think it's great that they have this option. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/coffee today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/coffee.
This is a trigger warning for mentions of drugs, alcohol, and death. So if you guys want to skip this part, you can fast forward about 15 minutes. I need to tell you about this TikTok I saw, okay?
Are you going to play it?
No, I'm not going to play the TikTok, but I am going to post it. I'm going to summarize it. So we're coming up on the anniversary of my lifetime friend, my childhood friend's death, which was in October. And I don't know if fentanyl was a part of it. I believe it was, but I don't know. I was scrolling on TikTok, and some people say that the way that the algorithm on TikTok works is that the people that you follow, and I might have said this before, when they like things, it affects your algorithm. So say 5 people that you follow are all liking the same type of content, then that content will start showing up on your feed. So somewhere along the lines, people that I'm, following or whatever, they are liking this type of content. And I get a TikTok that I've never really seen a drug TikTok on my timeline before. And this girl, she's talking about fentanyl and how, there's been a lot of deaths, for COVID and things like that, but nobody's talking about fentanyl related deaths and how that is what's killing people. I think she says 18 to, Kristen, did she say 18 to 45?
I believe yes.
It's the biggest killer of people between 18 and 45 is fentanyl. And it's made in labs in China, and then they're bringing it over here, and then they're selling it illegally. And lacing it in everything, pretty much lacing it in heroin, lacing it in cocaine, lacing it in weed now. And it's just dropping people like flies.
What?
Yeah. And she has like statistics on there, and it's so fucking sad because nobody's talking about it.
So hold on, back up for a second, because I need to discuss about this algorithm, because now that makes sense why I see certain stuff on my feed now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's probably because of the stupid shit that you watch.
First of all, if we're talking about the algorithm, I got a bone to pick with every single person I follow. I follow so many people on TikTok because if I like one video, I like follow them. I follow 887 people, and so many people will tell me that Chris comes up on their timeline. Chris does not come up on mine.
Because you're
whoever
blocked.
is liking Chris's content to make it pop up, stop it.
It's because you're blocked, dummy.
Oh.
Duh.
Duh.
Like, what? Chris also doesn't come up on my timeline, but I haven't looked him up on TikTok. So,
oh, thank God. Yeah, let's not. We're trying to be like nice and just chill and not worry about baby daddies right now.
Dead. Okay. So, then this TikTok comes up. It has all these statistics on it. I'm upset that you're not playing it so that I can get like more invested in this.
I'll play it, but it's a little on the long side.
I had to finally make this video because I am just so done. I am so done hearing about everything else. I am so done hearing about COVID deaths when the number one cause of death of people between 18 and 45 is fentanyl poisoning. And the amount of people that have no idea what that is blows my mind. I did not know what it was a year and a half ago when my 23-year-old brother passed away from fentanyl poisoning, and so many other people have lost so many amazing people from this. So I have decided to make this video so that I can provide you some education and hopefully stop people from making this choice, because it is ruining families and we're losing 175 people every day to fentanyl poisoning. So if you don't know what fentanyl is an illicit drug that is being made in China in labs. And it is being taken over our borders from Canada and Mexico, and it is being sold illegally by lacing it in drugs or selling it in pure form. You are seeing it being laced in cocaine, you're seeing it being laced in Xanax and Percocet and now weed. So any type of illegal drug that you buy, any drug that you get that is not prescribed, has the possibility of being laced with fentanyl. And let me tell you that if it is laced with fentanyl, 2 milligrams can kill someone, whether it is swallowed, inhaled, or just touched. Fentanyl is 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. There was some people in Florida who took cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. They went into cardiac arrest. 2 of their friends didn't do the drugs, but they were performing CPR on them. And from just performing CPR on them and inhaling the drug, they also went into cardiac arrest. This is one of the most dangerous drugs that we have ever seen. Why are we not talking about this? Just please, honestly, I ask you to educate yourselves, to share this with your friends, to let them know. If you decide you want to do drugs and you want to get them off the street, there are testing kits that are available in many states that might help your chances. But honestly, guys, know the weight of your decision. This isn't the 70s anymore when everyone is doing drugs and the only danger is overdosing on that drug. You can be poisoned from the lightest amount. You can take, like my brother did, took 1 pill and he was dead. And that could be you, and you could leave your family. So just please think about that, and please share this, and let's please open this conversation.
Okay, so I think we talked about this before. Didn't we talk about it with Spring Breakers before?
I believe so. And I talked about how they gave me fentanyl for Lincoln's, when I was pregnant with Lincoln. They gave it to me for labor and delivery.
Yes.
Well, labor,
yes.
Not delivery. But I think, it was controlled. It was in a hospital. It was, they told me they had to cut it off before a certain time so that, the baby would be okay, et cetera, et cetera. I did not know that it was made in China. I did not know that they were bringing it here illegally. I don't even know. I guess I didn't put too much thought into how it was getting into our drugs. I also didn't know such a low dose could kill you. Like, I had no idea.
I think that kids today, and even us, I mean, if this was going on whenever we were, teenagers? I mean, I don't know if it was or not. I wasn't around that kind of thing, but I think it's just like the lack of awareness, not knowing that something can impact your life or take your life so quickly. And I think that's what's so scary is you have teenagers out here making these decisions, thinking that they're doing something that just their friends are doing, and end up dead because they did not have the knowledge that they needed to have to be able to make right decisions.
I think if I was a teenager, because I mean, prior to getting pregnant with Isaac, I was ripping and running the streets, as I always say, and I smoked a lot of pot. I think had I known as a teenager that, you know, if someone told me, oh, like fentanyl this, fentanyl that, you know, it could be in the weed, it would have scared me and I wouldn't have been smoking. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have blindly trusted my friends, because I never really paid for weed when I was a kid. I just got it. Like people would just smoke with me or give it to me or whatever. And, but had they said, oh, you know, this could be laced with fentanyl, or like that was a conversation back then, which I don't know that it was a problem back then. But I hope now by opening this conversation, like parents can have these conversations with their kids, because that's so freaking scary. I mean, I can't imagine someone in high school, kids in high school, smoking weed that's laced with fentanyl.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier. Like, was this going on whenever we were in high school and we just didn't know about it? Or is this something that is like a new thing now that, you know, parents have to have greater worries because things are going on now that weren't going on then?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the answer to that.
I know it was happening when I was in high school.
Fentanyl was?
I don't think it was I'm not sure. I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no, but things like weed and stuff were definitely being laced with other stuff that were, you know, really getting people very sick or killing them.
Interesting. Okay. I did not know that.
I think you think you're invincible, so you probably don't pay attention. Like I didn't pay attention as much as a kid. I think about it more now than I did when it was happening in high school.
That's just terrifying, honestly. And, you know, we need to really advocate for the DARE program and saying no to drugs, because...
Do they still have that? Because they need to.
You know, I don't know, because used to, when we were in school, and tell me if y'all's was like this, but we had an entire week of like say no to drugs awareness.
Yeah, us too.
And you would wear like this little pin on your shirt, or like, I think it was like a ribbon or something like that, like a red ribbon or something. I can't remember, but like, I remember that you wore a ribbon, and then they had like DARE shirts, and I don't even know that I knew what drugs were. I was just saying no to them.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I was doing all the dress up days for like DARE, and I don't think that they do it anymore. And if they do, I've never heard Jackson talk to me about it before, and I've never seen it come home on like a school flyer. Like when I was in school, I remember it was so like it came home in like the folders, and you had like dress up days for DARE. Yeah, it was like a big deal.
Well, I don't think I started DARE until 7th grade, so I think Jackson may be a little young still.
I'm going to
ask. Isaac's in 7th, so I'm going to ask him.
We did it in elementary school.
Yeah, same.
Oh.
And I was so into DARE that I, on stage at an assembly, called my parents out for being drug addicts.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Did they whoop your ass?
They definitely were pissed, and I called them drug addicts because they smoked cigarettes, and cigarettes were drugs according to DARE. And that's what made them, they quit cold turkey, because they were so mortified that I literally told everybody.
Kristen, you did that to Debbie?
Oh, yeah, to the Deb. Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
But yes, like back in the day when we were, you know, having Say No to Drugs Week at school, every single person that you knew that did anything that they were talking about during DARE Week immediately were addicts. And you were like, I can't be around you, because like you should be saying no to drugs and like not smoking cigs.
So it was working.
Yeah.
Or maybe, here's the thing though. Was it more effective then because we didn't have social media like we do now? We weren't as influenced. I'm not saying we weren't influenced at all, but we weren't as influenced by celebrities and these, you know, rappers that have overdosed. Like, did we have access to that back then? And so we were more trusting in, you know, drugs are bad versus now where it's like people say they're bad, but they're a good time.
No,
Do you get what I'm saying, or am I not making sense?
No, you are making sense. I'm just trying to figure out how to answer the question. Like, I feel like social media, I feel like kids are exposed to so much now that everything and correct me if I'm wrong about this, I feel like everything is so normalized now because of social media that kids aren't as afraid now as we were. Like, it didn't take much to scare the shit out of us. Like,
because I was terrified.
We just had to wear a Dare shirt, and, you know, we were calling out every person around us that smoked, anybody that was drinking wine coolers, like all the things. Now, if you talk to kids about that, they would probably just be like, okay, that's great. This is just like something we're learning about in school, and they really just don't care.
Yeah.
I definitely think that social media, I think like from them doing it in elementary school, they're trying to get to you before you even get exposed necessarily, before you should get exposed. Now with social media, you have kids that are so young getting exposed. And also because drugs have become such like an epidemic, and drug use has, that people are getting exposed to it also more frequently at home than our generation.
Right.
Lindsay, it's starting to get to a fall. I need to change my wardrobe, and I'm definitely going to be trying Stitch Fix because you and Kale always talk about it, and I'm so excited.
I absolutely love Stitch Fix. If you guys have never tried it, I feel like it is truly the best way to discover new styles and brands that are just for you. Stitch Fix is basically like a style partner, and your stylist will learn about your taste and collaborate with you on looks that you'll love. And I just feel like this is so nice because you don't have to go to the store to get all of these great items, and they just show up right at your door. And all you're going to have to do is just answer a few questions about where you typically like to shop and what you like to wear and whatever price range that you're shopping in. And then they keep all of those choices in mind, and they have a wide range of sizes available from extra small to 3XL. They're going to find your perfect fit, and they have you covered with over 1,000 brands and styles. So you can just try your pieces at home before you buy. You'll keep whatever you love, and then you can send back the rest. And the shippings and returns are going to be free. And I just think it's great.
I'm so excited because I was seeing all of like the denim, sweaters, boots, everything they had for your selections. And now I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see what they pick for me. And something I especially love is that there's no subscription required. So I can just order a refresh as needed, or if I want to, I can just set it and forget it and get my regular seasonal fixes, which puts me in control. So I'm super, super excited to try.
So right now, Stitch Fix is offering our listeners $20 off their first fix at stitchfix.com/convos. That's stitchfix.com/convos for $20 off today. stitchfix.com/convos.
Do you ever dream of starting something game-changing? Then Visa can help make it happen.
Maybe it's creating and selling your own customized kicks for cats, or transforming your dorm into a plushy pop-up shop, or finally going mainstream with your streaming side hustle. Or if you're like me, it could just be laying your kids' clothes out the night before so that you are not stressed in the morning before school.
But whatever you're bold enough to try, Visa has the power to help bring your game-changing ideas to life. Visa, anyone can change the game.
Okay, well, outside of that, I need to confess to something.
What?
It's a big confession. Do you guys specifically remember the episode about fire alarm sex before?
No.
Yes, when you guys were talking about emergency sex.
Yeah,
What is
like
that?
when you just, well, you've had it a lot of times. So like, what do you mean? What is that?
I don't know what. I don't remember.
Remember, I was like calling you out. And I was like, did you just feel like it was an emergency to get pregnant, like in the back of a car, like you guys were just having emergency sex? Remember that? Okay, well, the inspiration for the fire alarm or emergency sex came from me and Suburban Dad.
Lindsay,
What?
Yeah.
explain yourself right now.
So I'm not going to give time frames because they have really just like not done me well in the past to give people time relevance of like when things were going on. But fire alarm sex, that happened to us. We were in an entanglement, and I guess Suburban Dad thought it was a good idea that he was going to light some candles and like make it a vibe and a great mood.
Uh-huh.
And so we were just like at his house on his bed, and I was laying not the way that like you normally would lay on a bed, but like the other way,
Uh-huh.
you know, like not horizontal.
Yeah,
Is that
you were
hot
laying
dog?
like
Is that hot dog style? Like if you fold a paper, it's hot dog?
no, you weren't laying vertical, you were laying horizontal.
Yeah, across the bed. And I guess my head was like a little hanging off the bed. And some things were just like happening and going on. And all of a sudden I started smelling this like weird smell of like burning. And it was just like crispy. And I was like, what the heck is that? Like I looked down, literally my fucking hair was on fire.
What? Your hair
My hair
was
was
on
on
fire.
fire.
So what the fuck do you do about that?
I patted it out and kept going.
Oh, wait. Ma'am, this happened during sex?
Yes.
Shut
Yes,
And then
my
you
hair
kept
was
going.
on fire.
the fuck up. Did it smell so foul?
Yeah, just like crispy. That's the best word I can use to describe it. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I going to have half of my hair gone whenever I get up from this entanglement? But I just patted it out.
Do you have pictures of this?
No.
Did I tell you about my vacuum story where a similar situation happened?
No, wait, what?
One time
What?
the closest story I have to my hair being on fire is my hair getting caught in the bottom of a vacuum. So we were living with my mom and her ex-husband at the time. And you know, like when you know someone's coming home in 30 minutes and you're like, let me get everything done.
Yeah. It's like when you are growing up and your parents are like, you need to do all of these chores before we get back home, and you've done none of them. And then you get the 30-minute warning and it's like, oh, fuck, like I got to get going. Yeah.
So I had taken the hose off of the vacuum and was trying to, like, I squatted down to vacuum under the couch, and the vacuum actually fell, and the brush roll got my hair, and it like twisted it up, and I didn't have any way to get it out, and it just smelled like burning hair, and I had to sit there for like 30 minutes until my mom got home.
What?
Yeah,
like you just
it was just, the vacuum was just going on my scalp.
wait for 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was awful. And it smelled so bad. So like I cannot imagine what your hair smelled like when it was legitimately on fire. And because we have blonde hair, it probably even smelled almost worse.
Wait, back up for just 1 second, and then I'm going to continue on about my story. But what did Susie specifically say when she came home and this was going on?
She panicked. She was like, oh my God. Oh, she freaked out. She was so like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe this. It was awful. We had to cut my hair out of the brush roll, and it was just not a good time. It smelled so bad for hours.
Kale, what was going through your head when this was going on?
I was dramatic. I mean, I was like 12 or 13. So I was like, I'm going to die here. Like, I was like,
what
like,
the
I'm
heck?
going to die.
Hold on, you guys. Hello?
Hi, darling.
Nanny, do you know whenever I record for Coffee Convos every single week?
My what, hon?
Do you know when I am recording for Coffee Convos every week, because you call at the same time every week?
Okay, bye. Bye.
She said, okay, bye.
Bye.
I love her so much.
And then she just hangs up. Like she doesn't
What
even
do y'all
give
talk
you
about? Like, what do you guys, like, do you guys talk about pop culture? Like, what do you guys talk about?
with Nanny.
Yeah.
Just my dad's fuckery, just what's going on in the family, her casino earnings, people that she's met at the casino, all of her new friends, what she's doing at her house with her porch, her dealing with the little Yorkie Miley. Anybody who's ever watched Chrisley Knows Best will know who Miley is. She takes her to the vet quite a lot because she has glaucoma or whatever it's called. I don't know if that's really the right word. It's the same thing that dog had on The Hangover, or what movie was that? where the dog had like glaucoma eyes or something. They just like were like foggy and they can't see, and then they just go blind.
Glaucoma.
Okay, Kristen, whatever. Kristen, be better. Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that we talk about when I'm going to come and visit, food that she's made, going to the produce stand. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Does she stay up on pop culture? Like, does she know what's going on with like Kardashians? Does she know about Adam Levine? Like, does she stay up on that?
She watches the news, so if it comes up on the news, then, you know, she knows about that, politics, the queen, all of those types of things, but really like more educated things, to be quite honest. But outside of that, I need to finish telling you about my hair being on fire. So yeah, it just caught on fire. I patted it out and I was just like, keep going. And then, whenever I got up, and then even the next morning, I just had like clumps of hair coming out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it black or is it still the regular color?
It just cinched off.
Oh my gosh. So do you have like parts that are just shorter now?
No, I don't think that I really ever noticed. I have a lot of hair, so I think that like really worked in my benefit this time. But my thoughts are now is never try to be romantic and then get in an entanglement like that, because my hair might catch on fire.
Oh, I cannot believe that happened.
And like, what would I have done? Like, how would I have explained that to the world, to my parents, to everybody that is involved with me, if like half my hair was just cinched off? Like, what story
like, what
would
could
I
you
have
possibly say? You literally couldn't say anything. You'd have to say there was a grease fire on the stove. You'd have to.
like, and just half of my hair got burnt off.
Oops.
Love that for us. Speaking of sexualizing and just sex and whatever, I was talking with Kristen the other day about Halloween costumes, and like, first of all, as adults, do you dress up with your kids for Halloween, or do you just go in like fall looking clothes? Like, I always tend to actually get ready for trick or treat. Like, I'll do my makeup, whatever. There's been a couple of times that I'll dress up in like onesies or something like that. Family costumes have just like really never been a thing for my little family. Will and I used to dress up a lot back in college. Like, we would go as themes. So like, we did Wizard of Oz one time. I was a playmate and he was like something in a robe. Like, I have no idea. Just like various different things. And so then I started thinking, I was like, why are Halloween costumes that women wear, like, why do we sexualize certain things that just shouldn't be sexual? Like a maid, for example, like that's one that I can think of.
Bunnies, animals, witches, all of that.
Like, why are we making those things sexy? It's like, what about being dressed up in a maid costume with a duster is like, that really gets my goat, you know, like that really gets me going. Like, why?
That's a really good question, actually. Like, I'm thinking of Mean Girls when she's like, Halloween is the one time of year that, you know, girls can dress like a slut and can't get hated on for it. And it's just like, why?
I think about the things that I wore in college and the costumes, and I'm just like, first of all, if I had a daughter and she wore those costumes, I would immediately be pissed. Like, I literally wore something from Victoria's Secret one time, like a lingerie piece from Victoria's Secret for Halloween, and like thought it was a good idea.
First of all, I remember 8th grade. Eighth grade, I wore like a pirate situation. It didn't even fit well, so I was like, fuck this, and I put sweats on. My friend dressed up as a bumblebee, and it was like a sexy bumblebee, and I was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like, but why are they sexualized? Like, why is it like, okay, let's like skimp these out, and also let's make these ideas sexy. So like, think of other ones like a maid, doctors, nurses, all the things. And any person that is listening to this that has ever dressed up in any of these costumes knows exactly what I'm talking about. Also, I am the type of person that, okay, even superheroes, for example, like I was Robin one time for Halloween and Will was Batman. And I went and had my costume altered, like to make it tighter and shorter and like all the things. So it
No, you
was
didn't.
like custom.
You did not have it altered.
Yes, I did. So it was like custom fit because it didn't fit. It was just like, it looked like a box when you put it on. So I needed to have it like tailored so that I really looked the part. And I'm like, who told us that we need to be doing this on Halloween, and like why?
I don't know, because the only time I went Halloween, when I went trick-or-treating as a kid, my mom took me once and I was fucking Big Bird. So my mom wasn't putting me in sexualized costumes at all by any fucking stretch of the imagination. And
Wait,
so,
you only went trick-or-treat one time?
yeah.
What were you doing on the other times?
I'm not sure.
Were people coming and trick-or-treating at your house on the times you weren't trick-or-treating?
No.
So your mom kept the light off?
Yes, my mom kept, well, we always lived in an apartment, or like two of our houses, like one of the houses I posted on my Instagram, like the main living area was upstairs. So people wouldn't, like, we would just keep the light off because we would have to go downstairs to get the candy. Does that make sense? Like to get I don't know. And then same for like my apartment when we lived in was up on the top floor. So I think for that one, like the tenants downstairs put like a bowl of candy outside and like come get it yourself kind of thing. Yeah. So I can't remember ever like, I can't remember ever doing things for Halloween except for the one time I was Big Bird. My mom said she would never take me anywhere again because I threw up.
You threw up?
Yeah, I threw up.
From too much candy?
I'm assuming.
Oh, bless. I'm so
I
sorry,
my
Gil.
mom never, she literally held that. She was like, yeah, you're never going anywhere again. And I never did. At least
Gil, that makes me so sad.
Well, that's why I'm a Grinch now.
That's what you should dress up for Halloween. Actually, speaking of Halloween, I actually hate it.
I know you do. But the kids love it. The kids really do love it.
Well, I just hate the whole idea. Like, I love fall stuff, but like hate Halloween. Like, I don't like what it stands for. I also just like, if we want to get candy, why do we need to go door to door to like get the same thing that we can just get at Target? Like, that just makes no sense to me. I don't care to see trick-or-treaters. Like, call me a Grinch if you want to. Like, I really just like don't care to see them. I'll put candy out on the porch if one person takes the entire bowl. Like, literally don't care. I just hate it.
Literally don't care.
I don't care. Okay. Another thing that I'm going to tell you what my inspiration is for this once you answer the question.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about people who wear sunglasses inside?
I hate it. 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 I think it's so corny. I don't understand it. It pisses me off, and it should not get under my skin the way that it does. It should not get under my skin the way that it does, but it does.
If I see someone inside with sunglasses on, I immediately cringe, and I'm like, what are you doing?
No, literally.
And like, at what point did someone tell you that you needed to wear those inside? Okay, first of all, I hate sunglasses on men anyway. Like, I just don't love the look. Like, even if they're nice sunglasses, I'm just like, be blind. Like, I don't care, but like, I don't like them on you. And outside of not liking sunglasses, just in general on men, if they're wearing sunglasses inside, I immediately hate that.
No, I know men and women that wear sunglasses inside, and it makes me so crazy, and I don't understand it. I also am not an avid sunglass wearer, which I should be.
Me either.
Which I want to be, and I should be. And I got my prescription in a pair of Ray-Bans for that reason. But I actually don't like sunglasses in general because I don't like talking to people that have sunglasses on and I cannot see their eyes.
I just hate sunglasses actually in general. And like, I have really blue eyes and I don't wear them outside in the sun. Like, I wear baseball hats all the time, but I literally never wear sunglasses. Like, you won't catch me in sunglasses.
I really don't either.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here on the sunglass topic on inside. I'll tell you, I am a sunglass wearer inside certain places.
Why?
Because
Don't do it around us.
I can't help it. Like the lights that are in like offices, I forget what they're called. Like how not halogen lighting. Fluorescent lighting triggers my migraines so bad, like very quickly. So if I have to be inside of a place that has fluorescent lighting for a long time, I wear sunglasses inside.
Okay, but
So we hate you.
Yes. And I feel no shame. The end.
I just don't understand why. Like, at what point did you start doing that? Because, like, that wasn't something that you've done for forever.
No, when I realized that that was a huge trigger for me, like for my migraines, that's when I started. I was like, well, okay, let me see if this works. And it'll like make me able to go grocery shopping without wanting to off myself by the time I get home and have like a terrible day for the rest of the day with migraine.
Okay, so everybody that's listening to this, I need to know if you are a sunglass wearer inside, and if you are, immediately correct yourself. I hate it. I think it's douchey when I see, because I view that as like someone trying to be cool.
Well, call me Queen Douche.
Same. Like trying to be cool, or like you smoked a little and you're like, ooh, I gotta wear sunglasses because I'm high. And it's like, if you're an adult, we probably don't care.
Yeah, and like I have seen a couple of people in my personal life wearing sunglasses inside, not to call them out, but Suburban Dad and Todd Chrisley. And I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? So there's my feelings on that. Just needed to let everybody know.
Okay, so I just went on Instagram Live and you were on it. And, everyone was like, what are you doing with your hair? And at the time, obviously, I just didn't have time because I was getting on another podcast. But I just got the Conair Smooth Wrap hair dryer. So as soon as we get off the podcast, I'm going to go use it to finish out my look for the day because I'm going to football after this. And this is not a typical hair dryer. It's a treatment for all hair types. So traditional dryers emit only like negative ions to control frizz, but the Smooth Wrap is changing the game with innovative advanced plasma technology. So it'll wrap your hair in both positive and negative ions to rebalance the natural charge of your hair. And so the result of this is more volume and less frizz, which is exactly what I need, especially in the heat. Like I just don't ever really want to do my hair until I discovered this.
Okay, so one, thank you for the science lesson explaining it, because your hair has been looking so good. It looks so smooth, so healthy looking, and it looks like there's like no frizz anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
this is your secret. This is what you've been using.
Well, and I know that you've talked to me about not having a whole lot of volume. So this will definitely help give you the volume that you're looking for.
Ooh, see, now I definitely have to try it.
Yes.
Again, so now I know what you've been buying off Amazon. Obviously, this is where you got the Infinity Pro by Conair Smooth Wrap hair dryer. So
Yes.
now I'm going to have to go and buy it. Thank you again for influencing me. I'm
problem.
super excited because I just feel better when my hair looks better. And it's giving you such like sleek, healthy looking hair.
And then I feel good about the day. You know what I mean? And let me just tell you, it has 3 heat and 2 speed settings. So you kind of have the freedom to switch up your hair, like your styles. And then it has a cool shop button so you can lock your style in place. So if you do anything with your like special with your hair dryer, you can kind of lock it in place. And I love that.
Okay, so I'm assuming for like my hair, I normally use like, medium heat, but you have thicker hair, so you probably use high.
Yes.
Okay, this is making sense.
You guys need to get this. Kristen's going to go get one right now. Treat yourself and your hair by searching Conair Smooth Wrap on Amazon.com to try the new drying experience with Smooth Wrap today.
The world is full of inspiring people who've achieved unimaginable feats. Some have scaled the tallest mountains. Others have created music beloved by millions of people Whose Amazing Life is a podcast from Wondery that celebrates these 1 in a million stories. Each episode walks you through the life's journey of a legend in their field. They could be an athlete, an artist, an explorer, an actor, anyone who made an impact on the world around us. But here's the catch. You won't know who we're describing until the very end of the episode, so it's your job to play along. From the creators of Little Stories Everywhere and Adventures of Cairo, Whose Amazing Life is a podcast for the whole family that allows you to spend some time walking in the shoes of legends. Experience the challenges and triumphs they faced in their journeys before anyone knew their name. Listen to the clues and do your best to immerse yourself in the life of someone amazing. Follow Whose Amazing Life on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or listen early and ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app. Outside of that, need to discuss this TikTok that Kale found, and we're gonna play it for you guys. I was highly alarmed when she sent it in our group chat. Meant to talk about it last week, and I still keep watching it over and over again and keep thinking different things every time I watch it. So
which one is it? The Amish one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I followed him. He has almost 1 million followers
on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I keep watching it over and over again.
Hold on, before you play it, Kristen, I just watched one of his newer videos, and because he left the Amish, his mom only lets him visit for 15 minutes once a year. But this last visit that he did with his mom, he, puts on the Amish attire with the hat and things like that, and the collar buttoned all the way up. She doesn't like a flat collar. He talks about how, he wants to respect her values and her wishes. So when he goes to visit her, he tries to be respectful of the Amish community and things like that. And I do appreciate that. And he said that she let him visit for a whole hour. And then he was like, all right, y'all, I'll keep you updated for next year's visit. And I thought that was so crazy to me, but that's normal for him. And it's really cool because there's a ton of Amish here. So the Amish worked on my house. They put up my siding. They'll probably do stuff for my pool. They did basketball court stuff. And so seeing it from his perspective now that he's not part of it is so interesting to me. But this one is a little crazy.
Is it true that some Amish men have sex with animals? Yes. Now, I'm glad you said some, because not all Amish are this way. Majority are very good people. The New Order Amish seem to have sex education. Well, the Old Order Amish, where I come from, they do not. And that would be why. At the end of your question, you said, I was curious as to why. Well, I can tell you, because of lack of sex education, we simply didn't know how to react when we turned teenage years. I can speak from personal experience that when my hormones started changing, puberty hit, I had some very wicked things that went through my head because I was trying to figure out why. And I heard from my buddies, hey, did you know it works this way? So with my own eyeballs, guys, I saw 4 different of my buddies, I'm not going to mention no names, family members. They were caught in sex acts with animals. One of them was with a Guernsey cow. Another one was with a little calf. Another one was a sheep. Guys, it does happen because the simple fact that there's no sex education. If they would teach the dangers of it, the diseases of it, the pregnancy, I thought little babies came from heaven in the middle of the night when angels come down and give me another brother or sister. When you're taught that, you don't know any better. See, that's very dangerous because if you were open to it and taught those dangers, then they would be afraid to do such a sexual, disgusting act to an animal. And also, that is why a lot of them do that to their own sisters where incest happens. I actually Googled before I answered your question this morning, and I found multiple incest and animal sex stories on Google, where an Amish man in 2017, 2 brothers actually were arrested. It leaked out to the outside law enforcement, and they were arrested for having animal sex. It does happen, and only a few get busted where law enforcement gets a hold of it. A lot of it gets hidden underneath the Old Order Amish church. They make it go away. They forget and forgive and move on. I know a pastor in my Amish church. Well, he got busted and confessed of standing on a 5-gallon bucket behind a cow. You know what happened. It does happen. But sadly, we only know of a few. It happens a lot. And I saw it with my own eyeballs that it was happening. And it's really been alarming, the number of ex-Amish that have left the Amish that share stories with me where they also did it themselves and witnessed themselves of other having animal sex, and also with their own family members, sisters, sometimes very young. And it's something that needs to be discussed, and they need to get resources in place, and that's what we're trying to help them do. But unfortunately, they're unwilling to work with former Amish or even Amish Rescue Mission, so therefore it's just going to continue.
How do you feel?
I have so many thoughts about it because I feel like it's so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the lack of education and the fact that it seems as if it's, I don't want to say normalized, but like kind of like normalized. That's just like something that happens in that community. That to me is terrifying, and why a church would cover up these types of acts
instead of educating.
Yes.
That's the part that I don't understand. We know it's wrong. The adults in the Amish community know it's wrong, but I guess they don't have an alternative either. So it's like, if there's a problem, you have to be solution oriented. And if they're completely against, say, masturbation or sex and things like that, these I'm going to direct it more towards boys, are having these raging hormones, and they have no alternative or no other option. Like, I guess they don't have any other solution but to cover it up, right? Because they don't provide other options or solutions for these kids.
It would have to be normalized in that community to an extent, because where are they learning to do this? Like, to me, that's just like not a natural thought process of having raging hormones and then being like, okay, I'm going to go do sexual acts to an animal.
I guess like my other thing is, we know that's all wrong. We know that incest is wrong. And if they feel like masturbation is wrong, or, you know, the education part of it, what is the lesser of the two evils? Because they're all wrong. So I would rather give my child the education and understanding that, you know, here you can masturbate than to go fuck an animal. To me, that makes more sense.
It's the lesser of the two evil.
Right. And I don't know for sure if it's against Amish religion or not. I'm just saying, if that is the case, we would pick the lesser of the two evils, right? Like, I don't want, you know, the little sister or the sister in general, the animals, to be harmed. And like that's so, you know, traumatizing for everybody. So why not just give them the option to if it's all wrong, if it's all against their religion? Like, it just seems like a no-brainer to us.
Well, to me, it's just, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that ignorance. It's truly, to me, to not educate your children properly. That is when things like this, when it becomes normalized in a community, a church covers it up. That's why you have a history of things like this happening. Incestual relationships. Like, where was that normalized along the way?
That's really fucking sad. It's really sad, because then they grow up and then it just continues because it doesn't ever get corrected.
But you think about, truly what came to mind was the Duggars, even though they're not Amish, but it is groups of people that use religion to cover up acts like this that should not be normalized and are just very wrong.
Yeah. And that's like, what was it called I feel like it was on Netflix, and I talked about it years ago. I think The Keepers or something, which was like the Catholic religion in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. They use religion, and then it gives Christians and, you know, religious people a bad name because that's what people remember. You know what I mean? And it's not really fair.
Well, and I think about, what was that one show that we watched about that guy who said that he was like a god or whatever, and they lived on that compound, and
the Waco one?
Yeah, the Waco one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think about all of these groups of people who, you know, almost like cult-like things. Like, you see stuff happening like this in religious cults.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is just terrifying. And, you know, I do want to say that when you are not taught better, you don't know to do better.
Right.
And so that to me is sad, because then you have kids out here that are making these decisions because it's been normalized in a sense in the community that they live in. And there is no formal training to educate these kids to do better. So then at what point, do you say, okay, well, it's not really their fault. But at the same time, you look at the stories and you see things like this come up and you're like, okay, that is just fucked up.
It's like, that guy knew it was wrong. But I guess like if he was a child in the community, when this was going on, what was he going to do? He was going to tell an adult and they were just going to cover it up. Like there's not really, it has to come from the higher ups, I would guess.
And what he's saying is the higher ups were covering it up through the church.
But why? I don't understand it. I wish I could talk to this guy, because why cover it? Why not give them, here, masturbate instead? Like, I do not understand it.
I don't get it either.
That has to be a healthier option of the sins, if that's what it is.
I don't know if anyone who is listening is Amish, or if you could give us, or ex-Amish, if you could give us any insight on this, I would love to know. You had mentioned Adam Levine earlier, and Kristen actually came across a TikTok this morning and sent it to me. And so I want to play it because I was freaking mind blown. Did you see it?
I did see the TikTok. I did. I did. I actually saw all the stitches. I didn't see the original.
I have a lot to say just about relationships in general once everyone listens to this.
Essentially, I was having an affair with a man who's married to a Victoria's Secret model. At the time, I was young, I was naive, and quite frankly, I feel exploited. I wasn't in the scene like I am now. So I was definitely very easily manipulated. Maroon 5 is practically elevator music at this point. So I'm sure you know who Adam Levine is. But Adam and I were seeing each other for about a year. After I stopped talking to him over, a period of months, this is how he came back into my life. He said, okay, serious question. I'm having another baby, and if it's a boy, I really want to name it Sumner. You okay with that? Dead serious. I was like, I'm in hell. Like, I have to be in hell at this point. My morals were unknowingly compromised. I was completely manipulated. I wanted to handle this privately. I never wanted to come forward because obviously I know the implications that come with doing what I do, making money the way I do, and being an Instagram model. So being tied to a story like this, it's like, I know the stereotypes. I had sent some screenshots recklessly to a few friends I thought I trusted, and one of them had attempted to sell to a tabloid. So here I am.
Okay, I did not see the original. I only saw the stitches, but I got the gist of it. And maybe this is because of my time in the public eye, and maybe because this is my trauma from being on reality TV. But why does this scream clout to me? Like she wanted to put this out there. Like you could have taken your demons to the grave and just said, yes, I feel manipulated, but also I had a hand in this, but also, why did she feel the need to go public about this?
I also felt that way. And to reference, I am an Instagram model, so I know what it means to be tied to a story like this. Let's be honest, you being tied to a story in a cheating allegation with Adam Levine is going to do nothing but help you. Yeah, you're going to gain some haters, but clout chase.
But it's also going to ruin her chances, most likely, if I had to guess. I don't know this for sure. Any other celebrity who would want to fuck with her or like befriend her is not going to trust her now.
Well, no. And then to be like posting screenshots of the private messages on TikTok, have some personal accountability and realize that you need to read the room. You knew that he was married when you were doing what you were doing for an entire year. So in my opinion, should he have been doing what he was doing? Absolutely not. And he needs to take accountability for that.
Right. But she didn't need to bring the public into it.
She didn't need to bring the public into it. And also she chose to engage in that entanglement. So, that's on her.
I agree. you know, in therapy, I learned, well, and my own experiences with, you know, I've been through, you know, telling so-and-so that so-and-so cheated on them, or, you know, I've been in all that, and it did absolutely nothing for me except for ruin relationships and make me look messy. And, you know, I had a hand in it myself, you know? So that's why to this day, like, I'm very careful about, I told Isaac, trying to follow the bouncing ball here. So Isaac was telling me some drama about so-and-so kissed this person, but she has another boyfriend. And I said, if you want to watch it from afar, Isaac, I said, that's fine. I said, but don't be spreading anyone's business. I said, don't go and tell so-and-so's boyfriend. I said, don't tell this person. I said, it's none of your business, and you're going to be the one that they end up hating. I said, so don't get involved. You can watch it from a distance, and that's literally it. And this is the same situation. So I just feel like she knew what she was doing, but I think she was going to shoot herself in the foot, because now you've now ruined a marriage. He ruined his own marriage. Let's be clear about that. He fucked up big time. But that was not for her to put out in the public, in my opinion.
I would love to know, now that I have watched this, what exactly he was telling her about his relationship with his wife that would have given her the confidence to remain in this affair for an entire year.
Did they actually have relations, though? Or was this all like...
Well, so Adam issued a statement and said, a lot is being said about me right now, and I want to clear the air. I used poor judgment in speaking with anyone other than my wife in any kind of flirtatious manner. I did not have an affair. Nevertheless, I crossed the line during a regrettable period in my life. In certain instances, it became inappropriate. I have addressed that and taken proactive steps to remedy this with my family. My wife and my family is all I care about in this world. To be that naive and stupid enough to risk the only thing that truly matters to me was the greatest mistake I could ever make. I will never make it again. I take full responsibility. We will get through it, and we will get through it together. I think this is a cover your ass statement. I think that there's probably truth on both sides, hers and his, to a degree. This goes back to what we were talking about last week, that when you put yourself in situations that you are flirting with someone, that you are in a committed relationship, in this situation, in a marriage, it probably started with flirting, which led to something else. It's wrong. It's wrong. He is wrong. And I think that it's amazing that, you know, I have had a front row seat to many people's situations, and men typically, when they get caught doing stuff like this, say, you know, you're the only thing I care about. The kids are the only thing I care about. I was naive. I was stupid. It was a mistake. It was all of these things. But this statement to me is just a cop-out for what he did and a way to downplay what he was engaged in.
So you think he downplayed it?
I do.
See, I don't know if he downplayed it. I think... I don't know. It doesn't sound like they actually had any, like, she's claiming it's an affair, but just like an online... It is an
affair because it was an emotional affair. Even if it wasn't a sexual affair, it is an affair.
And it's still wrong. Of course it's wrong. But for some reason, I feel like she made it seem more like a sexual affair, which both are horrible.
To me, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, not that I would ever want to be cheated on, but if I was... affair is worse. To me, an emotional affair is worse than a physical one, because if someone is just using another piece of ass to, you know, do whatever, that's one thing. But to be emotionally invested in someone else, that's a whole nother thing. And to me, that is just something that I like maybe couldn't get over.
Yeah, I agree.
So I do believe, even if it was not sexual, it was an emotional affair for what was going on, and it was something that he should not have been engaged in, and he's wrong.
Yes, agreed. I can't disagree with that at all.
So there's that.
There's that.
Lindsay, I absolutely cannot believe that the holidays are, like, we're thinking about the holidays are already upon us, and I feel like they sneak up on us every year, and we absolutely have to be ready for the holiday rush so that we can make sure that we are shipping everything. And luckily, Stamps.com has everything we need to make our lives a whole lot easier for that.
So if you guys have not heard of stamps.com, basically you can just think of it as 24/7 post office that you can access from anywhere. So no lines, no traffic, no hassles. It's going to be your one-stop shop for all your shipping and mailing needs. And you'll get access to USPS and UPS services that you need to run your business right from your computer. So with inflation on the rise, every dollar counts. We all are very aware of this. You can protect your margins with major discounts on USPS and UPS rates, which is up to 86% off. And it's truly a stress-free solution for every small business.
We recommend stamps.com to everybody because you can print postage wherever you're doing business. You just need your computer and printer, so it's super easy. And you can actually easily schedule a package pickup through stamps.com to just completely avoid having to go anywhere to drop off your packages, which is super useful. And it works seamlessly with all the major shopping carts and marketplaces. So we have an easy time integrating with our things, and basically they integrate anywhere.
If you guys have not tried stamps.com, this is your reminder to try. You can get ahead of the holiday chaos this year. Get started with stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code COFFEE for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code COFFEE.
Hi, guys. I'm Teresa Giudice, and you know me from the Real Housewives in New Jersey. And now you'll know me from my new podcast, Namaste Bitches, with my co-host, Melissa Feaster.
What's up, you guys? I'm Melissa Feaster, and Teresa and I are talking about everything. Love, life, relationships, yes, sex, food, and family. We are getting into it all.
It's a real look at my life when the cameras aren't rolling. But don't worry, we'll be talking about all that TV stuff too.
So follow, rate, and review Namaste Bitches now at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We have a listener topic, people wanting to know behind the scenes of podcasting as a career and what goes into it besides sitting down to record for an hour a week. That to me just like makes me laugh. And sometimes I take such offense when people are like, oh, you're just a podcaster. Like you just do this, you know, one time a week and that's your only obligation to your work life. And
I wish. It's really hard, especially just to plan. We have to plan everything out. I mean, this year I know for a fact we were supposed to do like 4 content shoots, and then, you know, my mental health declined and everything else. Like we have to have content. We have to keep things fresh. We can't, you know, if we get stale even a little bit, people will drop like flies. And then we have to be very careful with the criticism, because if we get too political, we're wrong. If we don't get political enough, we're wrong. Just the differences of opinions, instead of people understanding that we work together despite our differences of some opinions, we get attacked for them. You know, we've been in this for 5 years, and this is the first time we've ever been nominated for any type of awards, which is a big deal for us. And just trying to, the algorithms and trying to stay up to the standards of like what society wants for content, what they want to watch, what they like to watch. I did a podcast with Perez Hilton, and he was just saying like how hard it is for people to stay relevant today in the society that we live in, because there's always somebody new going viral every single day. And if you don't work really fucking hard to stay in the spotlight and to stay relevant, people do not give a fuck what you have to say, because the next person is going to take off on TikTok or Instagram. And so I don't think that people ever really think about that part of it, is like we constantly have to plan for that.
And for, you know, podcasting as a whole, I think that people look at it as, oh, they just get on this mic, they talk for an hour a week, shoot the shit, and nothing else is going on behind the scenes. And I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you what project that I am working on. I told Kale about what we were going to engage in right before we started recording, so she's aware. But there's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with a podcast crossover that we are going to be doing with Coffee Convos. That is a big project, and it takes a lot of time trying to plan the content around that, trying to plan for photographers, for videographer. When you do large crossovers like what I'm referencing, there's a lot of work that goes in the behind the scenes. And like Kale was talking about, keeping the content fresh, like with both of us having multiple shows. Kale has 3 podcasts. Coffee Convos started, and then the second one, Baby Mamas, and then her personal one, Barely Famous. And then I have Coffee Convos and my second baby, The Southern Tea, trying to diversify content between those shows and making sure that there is not a ton of crossover there. Is a lot of work. And to feel like there's so many people that are getting into podcasting now. When we got into it 5 years ago, it was so new, and there were podcasters that were podcasting before us, but in the reality TV space, not a ton.
No.
And so now seeing so many people get into the business and feeling sometimes like, okay, everybody thinks they can have a podcast. It feels oversaturated. How to stay above all of that and to not get in the weeds of being like, okay, you know, everybody's doing podcasting now. What makes me different? That's something that I struggle with a little bit, but I can tell you, I don't listen to podcasts. So, and I've maintained that from the beginning. Like I know you do, Kale, and Kristen probably listens to podcasts and whatever. I don't like to get ideas or for anything to imprint on me from other shows. So I just choose not to engage in that. I don't know.
I also just want to touch on, like, when it comes to content shoots and things like that, like we are not physically able to do it by ourselves. And so then on top of this is a job. Like I think people don't realize that this is a career. That for us, we have made this our careers. And so we had to hire Kristen to help us plan these content shoots. What are we going to get while we're on these content shoots? What places are we going to go? We have to clear the locations. We have to know exactly what is going on in the algorithm on TikTok, on Instagram. Right now, Instagram does not give a fuck about still images. They want everyone to be making reels. So for our next content trip, that's something that we have to consider when we're doing the planning for the content. Is like, in order for people to continue listening to us, we have to keep up with that stuff. And also, if we ever want to get new listeners and we want to be seen or we want to go viral so that we can get our podcast out there, those are things that we constantly have to watch. And, you know, Kristen does a great job at doing that. And shout out to Kristen. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't know what the fuck we would be doing. You know what I mean? So I think, and just taking in all the feedback from everybody, because we're not going to be able to make everybody it's a lot of work. And I don't think that people understand that.
Well, and the last thing that I want to touch on with this is that when you're in business with a friend or business with family, because I have done both and am doing both, that is a whole nother obstacle as well, because you want to maintain your friendship or your relationships with your family, but sometimes in business you disagree on things, and so that can make things hard. And that's a whole other challenge that I think that people just don't know about, because we don't talk about that. You know, like for me, I love a beautiful picture, and for Kale, not so much. She's like, I want to, you know, be with the trends. I want to, you know, do this. I want to do that. And I think over time we have learn to really respect each other for our strengths. And Kale has different strengths than I have, and I have different ones than she has. And just like riding with that, that's not something that we've always been able to do since we started this business. So there's a lot that goes into it that people just don't see. And when you're meshing personalities and trying to effectively do something, that's not always easy either.
Right. No, 100%. 100%.
So with that being said, we have time for one foul play.
Okay, Hi, girls. I don't have social media, so I'm not sure if this is the right avenue for my foul play, but here you go. Last weekend, my boyfriend and I engaged in some extracurricular backdoor action. Like Kale, I suffer from IBS symptoms, and after anal sex, the next 3 days or so are extra sketchy. Fast forward to Monday morning, my boyfriend gets up and asks me if I need the bathroom before he gets ready for work. I say no. I had barely woken up at that point and didn't realize my stomach was doing gymnastics after the homemade chili cheesesteak sandwiches we had the night before. I'm also lactose intolerant and eat way too much cheese. Wow, is this me? I feel like this is me.
Did you write in?
As he goes to shave and shower in the only bathroom we have, I go to the kitchen and start grabbing things to pack his lunch. Wow, she's a nice girlfriend. I open the fridge and my stomach starts to gurgle. I stop and clench, waiting for it to pass. When the relief happens, I continue over the counter with some sandwich makings, and it immediately hits again. This time so hard that I grabbed the counter and went backwards, willing my butt cheeks to hold back the disaster. When a little relief came, I carefully waddled down the hallway and asked if he was almost done as I heard the shower. He said he was, and I stood in the hallway as wave 3 hit and I almost cried out in panic. At that point, I had heard the shower shut off and I thought it was clear. Next thing I know, I heard the sink start as he started brushing his teeth the moment lava started filling my favorite pair of shorts. Oh no. I prayed my shorts would contain the liquid monster as I made my way to the back door, which currently doesn't have a porch, and swung my butt out the door in full squat position. At that moment, I look up and see my boyfriend staring at me from the hallway with a smirk on his face. I yelled, "Go away." I don't want to talk about it. He laughed and went to the bedroom, and I kicked my shorts out the back door and ran to the bathroom to clean up and hide my shame. He came to the bathroom door as I was in the shower and asked if I was okay before he left for work. I was mortified. Fast forward to today, and I've heard the third joke about shitting out the back door this week. He's a good man and thinks it's funny. However, I'm not looking forward to never living this down, so I figured I'd share my story publicly. If they get married, he's going to tell this story at their wedding.
Oh, he's going to tell the story at the wedding. And also, I have a couple of just like things that I need to say about this. One, the butt sex. Like, you must engage in this very regularly to know that the next 3 or so days are extra sketchy. Good for you. Not my thing, and I'm not trying to like go that avenue. So like, good for you for that. Also good for you for really loving your man enough that you know that you have IBS and you still do this. I love that for you. Outside of that, good for you for making him a sandwich for work. Also, any person that has ever been in a dating situation and you start having sleepovers and you're just like, okay, they're going to go home and then I'll be able to like shit in peace. Like,
yeah,
I have been there before and felt that before. So I feel like she just was like in a losing situation at this point, and there was no choice but for her to not only shit herself, but like also shit herself outside. And I just hope things get better for her.
I also hope things get better for her. We should really work on, because I'm also lactose intolerant and I eat it anyway. Eat cheese, dairy, all the things. And I just love it. But we should work on that. We should also work on getting do we need colonoscopies?
Wait, what? Enema.
Maybe we need colonoscopies. I don't know.
What was the thing that Kourtney Kardashian did where she shoved that thing up her butthole, that tube? And then
Kristen would know. What is it called?
Enema.
That's
enema.
Called.
I've done an enema.
Yeah, the enema.
Yeah, maybe you guys should get enemas. On that note, I've got actual shit to do. So if you guys have not followed us on @CoffeeConvos Podcast on Instagram, follow us over there. If you have not subscribed to the show, you can do that from any podcast app. I hope that you guys all have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
All this month, celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with Pluto TV. Watch movies with the biggest stars like Eugenio Derbez in No Eres Tú, Soy Yo, and Luis Gerardo Méndez in Camino a Marte. Plus, Pluto TV has thousands more movies and TV shows and over 45 channels in Spanish, all for free. So download the Pluto TV app on all your favorite devices and start streaming today. Pluto TV. Drop in, watch free.